People say to me, how did you become the UK's #1 motivational speaker? I just made a fucking website and said I'm the UK's #1 motivational speaker. You know, sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to say what you're going to do. Look at that situation. But listen, I'll be honest with you. Bit of housekeeping before I start. I am from Manchester. Do have a shaved head. Do have tattoos, but don't worry, I'm not a drug dealer. All right? Anymore. But as the UK's #1 motivational speaker, I need motivating because it's a damn sight easier you lot sat there saying, go on then, Baldy, motivate me, than it is with me up here with you lot staring. So what we're going to do for a bit of fun is we're going to go off stage. And when I come on stage, I want a big round of applause on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. Does that make sense? Yeah. It makes no sense whatsoever, but I appreciate the 12 people trying to help me out. I'm now off stage, I'm now off stage. I'm off stage, give it up, people, come on! Stop that. Let me tell you something. What you don't know about me, right, is I've written several books. My first one was called Get Off Your Arse, right? When you've got a book called Get Off Your Arse, the tip is in the name, people. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go off stage. And there's a 10 in each and every one of us each and every day, and it's a case of finding it. I'm going to go off stage, and when I come back on stage, I'm looking for that nutcase who gives it a 10 out of 10 out of 10. And that person is going to get a free copy of my book, which is available at all good bookstores. Boys and girls, I'm off stage, I'm off stage, I'm off stage, I'm off stage! Yes! Yes! Come on, girl! That's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. Thank you very much. Interesting, really interesting here. This man, was the best. Big round of applause. But, this is the thing. You know where he went wrong? He sat down too early. Listen, hang about. But often, the difference between success and failure in business is not quitting. And it's generally the person who's daft enough to stay on their feet when no one else was. Round of applause for this lady. Choose one. That one. There you go, Boom. Thank you very much. Awesome. So here's the situation. Right. What we're going to do for the next 3 hours. 3 hours. I've actually got 20 minutes. 20 minutes, that's all I've got. And my intent in the next 20 minutes is to change your life, change your business, change your thinking, change it forever. It's a bold statement, but one that I back up. When was the day that it all changed for you? When was the day that it all changed for you? And I want you to think for a second about the worst day of your life. Forget that now. And the best day of your life. Worst day of my life, 20 years ago, I got 2 bullets put through my window over in Manchester. And everything that was so important to me the day before, smoking weed, playing my Mega Drive games, and bear in mind I've smoked more weed than, okay, bad example here in all fairness, but what I'm trying to say is everything that was so important to me the day before that happened, it all went to shit. And I moved away from Manchester, and it made no sense at the time. And your darkest day in your life makes no sense right now. But one day, down the future, it'll make every bit of sense, because if it wasn't for my darkest days, I wouldn't have written 3 books, I wouldn't run my own business, I wouldn't where we're about to get to. So everything happens for the reason, even the shitty stuff in your life, and we're going to get to that. So when was the day that it all changed for you? I want you to think about the worst day and the best day. These bookends in your life are now steering you down the path you now walk. You are here as a direct result of all the decisions that you've made. Some people couldn't be asked to be here today. They'd rather sit at home watching Jeremy Kyle. Listen, in 20 minutes you can tell me whether that was a better idea. But the point I'm trying to make is that you made a decision, you made a conscious decision to actually stop doing whatever you was doing and come here today. So when was the day that it all changed for you? I'm about to share with you a story about the day it all changed for a friend of mine, a guy called Darren. Darren had worked at Tesco's, he was on their management training programme, £65,000 a year he's on, worked there for 12 years. The guy who trained him was a guy called Roger. Roger had been there years, and he was on £105,000 a year. Think about that, big dough. That's what life's about, isn't it, making big dough? No, it's not, and we'll get to that. Right? And it was Roger's last day, and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, one of the directors was due to come down from Tesco's and give him a send-off in front of the 100 staff and 500 customers. And the phone goes in the office. Roger picks up the call. Hello? Hi, is that Roger? Yes, it is. Hello, Roger. How are you doing? It's Steve, one of the directors over at Tesco's. How are you today? Good. Roger, what it is, and you always know when somebody says your name followed by what it is. Yeah, what it is that follows is generally called shit. Roger, what it is, I can't actually make it down today, sort of not enough hours in the day. Poof, bit embarrassing, really. So I suppose all I need to say is on behalf of myself, indeed all the directors of Tesco's, and all the staff, thank you for all your hard work, and all the best on your retirement. Put the phone down. Roger was taken back by this, and he went to see Darren, the guy who trained for 12 years. And he told him that the director wouldn't be coming down from Tesco's because he'd run out of day. Darren was furious. And there's been times in your life when you've been furious. There's been times in your life when people say, keep that shut, keep your head down, don't rock the boat. And you know what you said? Bollocks. This is what happened here. Darren said, I've had enough of this. He's furious. And he stormed onto that busy Tesco's superstore on a Friday afternoon, thinking, you know what, I'm going to throw everything, caution to the wind. I'm not bothered. I've had enough. He was so upset that his friend would be treated in this manner. He went straight to the centre of that store, took a big deep breath in, realised the severity about what he's about to do, that potentially he could throw in the bin, his pension, everything. He said, am I really going to do this? Yes, he is. Took a big deep breath in, sense checked it again. And you know what he did? He stole a cake. That's right, people, caterpillar cake, if he recalls, reduced from £6 to £4. And he took it into the staff room, and him and Roger, they cut into the cake, and they ate the cake. Fight the power, brother. Right? The point I'm trying to make here is this. And then Roger walked home after 52 years of employment. He walked home from Tesco's. No gold watch, no whip round, no fuck all. The question I say to you is, on your last day of your career, when you're 65, what are you heading for? Greatness or a stolen caterpillar cake? You know, the day it all changed for me, December the 16th, 2004, I told my employer to shove his job up his arse. Anyone ever done it? Anyone ever thought about it? That's more like it, right? I'll tell you something, I actually did it. I did it. And it was a wonderfully liberating experience, it really was, for those 3 hours whilst I drove home. I'm married. I've arrived home going, I've opened the door and standing before me was 8.5 stone of common sense. The wife, she said, you're home early. Are you here to look after baby Ben while I go shopping? That's one way to look at it, Kerry. The other way is I've told my employer to shove the job up the backside. What do you think, boys and girls? My supportive wife said. Actually, you're a fucking idiot. Why couldn't you keep your mouth shut for 5 days and get your Christmas pay? She had a point. Look, Kerry, it's fine. Stop crying and own £25,000 in personal debt. I know I've got no income, but I'm going to start my own business off. How difficult can it be? Because I've been promised in the last 3 months that I'll be getting 9 contracts from all the people if I start my own marketing firm off. Fast forward 3 months, I'm sat in my box room in my underpants. Control yourself, ladies. My wife describes me nude, by the way, as an egg on legs. Something for the weekend there, ladies. But the point I'm trying to make, where was I? Yes. So I started my own business off, and I'm sat there in my box room, aggressively waiting for the phone to ring. Come on, phone, ring, ring, ring. After all, I've been promised 9 contracts. So this is the bit where if you're employed, the best thing about being employed, if you can't be bothered working, you just pretend you still get paid, brilliant. Right? When you work for yourself, not so much fun. So I went downstairs to watch some Jeremy Kyle. And I'm sat there with a cup of tea, with a wet flannel on me, a wet cloth. And people say, why do you have a wet cloth on your head? Because I wondered whether I was managing director or managing frigging depression. Because nothing prepares you for the reality of running your own business. You know, reading books, great, and actually essential education, no question. But the reality of running a business, it's easy making money on spreadsheets. I've done it loads of times. Spreadsheet millionaires. Do it in the real world, that's a different ball game. You know, I'd run out of ideas, so I'm watching Jeremy Kyle, I'm waiting for those all-important DNA results to find out whether it was Steve or Dwayne from Kenny and 10 that had got Chantel pregnant. Well, anyway, the phone goes, hurrah, it must be those leads paying off. Pauses the Sky Plus, got to keep your essentials when you're skint. It's my wife on the phone. She says to me, how's it going? You know, when your tutor asks you, have you got your homework and you've not got it? What do you say? Yeah, just working on it. Yeah, that's what I said. Fine. I said, lots of irons in the fire. My wife says to me, when HSBC start taking irons in the fire for mortgage payments, you let me know. Culminated in me delivering pizzas. I delivered pizzas at 31-year-old. I'm 41 now. I was delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat. Nobody tells you about this. I was a proud guy from Manchester, and I'm 31 delivering pizzas. So Monday to Friday, hi, I'm Brad Burton, the award-winning marketeer. The company's called Full Consultancy. We're a full-service new media and creative design agency. Lovely to meet you. 6 p.m. on a Friday night, ding dong, hello mate, Domino's Pizza. And it all went horribly wrong one day when I rang a doorbell, ding dong, and my door opens and standing before me is one of my clients from my marketing business. Brad, what are you doing here? What it is, Steve, is we're undertaking a direct marketing campaign for Domino's, so I thought I'd really get a feel for the organisation by delivering pizzas at weekend. It was the meal deal you wanted, wasn't it? You know, that was 10 years ago. You know, if I'd not done that, I'd have no business now. I'm going to get on to what my business is, okay? What you don't know about me, I do not have a qualification to my name, not one. My teacher said to me I'd never amount to anything. Up until about 10 years ago, he was right. But I changed. Because my life used to be shit, you know why? Because it was shit. So you know what I'll do? I'll smoke some weed. And I'll keep smoking some weed. And guess what? Before you know it, your life's shit because you're smoking weed. Serious. Serious, this is real talk, this people. You know, what you don't know about me, you know, I was brought up in the council estates in Manchester. My dad was a heroin addict. Got a Jim will fix it badge when I was 8. But the point I'm trying to make is, note to self, better with alcohol. But the point I'm trying to make is hard the ideal conditions. Hard the ideal conditions to start a business off. I was £25,000 in debt on daft cars, television, stuff that I no longer owned, and I started a business off. My wife wanted me to go and get a proper job. At least you know where you stand with a proper job, don't you? Tell that to the 3,000 people from Barclays that have just got let go. Is that Barclays that's posted billions of pounds profit? Yes, it is. When you run your own business, you know exactly where you stand. Skint, get used to it. Right? But show me one self-employed person that's starved to death. Anyone know a self-employed person that's starved to death? Right, it doesn't happen. So what's the risk? The risk is you can't afford a Gucci belt. I clock you a Gucci belt, don't you? No, I clock that. There you go, you know what I mean? But the point I'm trying to make is this. I started my business off. I went to the bank, trying to get a loan and all that, projected sales of £30,000 a month. And the bank manager turned around to me and says, I'm afraid, Mr. Burton, with those projections there, we can't actually give you a loan that you're after with £30,000 sales projections. So I got a pen, put a line through 30 and wrote £40,000 in front of him. He said, where'd you get that figure from? It's the same fucking place I got the first one from. It's all made up. You know, my business plan, I might as well, for the bank, I might as well have a foreword by J.K. Rowling. Seriously, it was like a work of fiction. But you know, I started my business off with 25 grand in debt. No income. People didn't believe in me. I remember I started my second business for networking, which we'll get onto in a second. And I run a networking event. And when I stood up there in front of people, the first networking events, I said, welcome to the future of business networking. And people laughed in my face and told me it'd never work. And if I'd have believed those people, they'd been absolutely right. But I didn't. I turned the volume down on those negeds. And now I run over 5,000 events across the UK every year. I've got a business over in Australia. I'm the highest rated business author on Amazon. Just let's recap. No qualifications. Not one. Dad was a heroin addict. Council estate. What excuse are you telling yourself right now? Because you'll be telling yourself something. There's a reason that you can't start a business off today. Well, I got locked in a coal shed when I was 7 by my dad. I got run over, I've got a limp. You keep telling yourself that. Because I was telling myself that until I was 31, that I'd never amount to anything. It's all you. It's all you. I'm going to move on, the clock's ticking, unfortunately, right? I'm going to do that. So starting my business off, and it's networking, right? And let me tell you a business lesson here about life and business. People in my networking event, a guy came in, the best way to describe it is he wanted a fight, not a physical one. I took him out, do you know what I mean? Sorry, it's not 1993 outside the Hacienda anymore, is it? My bad. Anyway, he came in and the best way to describe it is he wanted to fight. What? Seems a little bit low rent to people here. I bill out at £1,000, £1,500 a day. Quite frankly, no one here could afford my services. He said the famous line, I need bigger businesses. You know what people need? They need people. Do yourself a favour in business. Never overestimate anyone. Never underestimate anyone. Treat everyone the same with respect. Same goes for life. As the best life lesson I can give you. And I was with Theo Pathetis from Dragon's Den a couple of months back. Sorry, Prince Charles told me not to name drop. Boom, I've got a group here. And I was with him, and a guy came rushing up to him. Hello, Theo. Hedge funds. And the way I met Theo, I was dressed like this. And people are not going to take you seriously in business, you know, if you're not dressed up in a suit. What would me wearing a suit prove that I know how to go to Burton's and buy a suit, right? Business is an attitude. It's up there. You don't need a three-piece suit and a pocket watch to be taken seriously. I am proof of that. Highest rated business book, international multi-million-pound business, blah, 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 the list goes on. I did it my way. You know what my way is? And people say, oh, Brad, you're radical. What's so fucking radical about being yourself? Be you. Spend 100% of your time being you. And if people don't like you in business for being you, that's okay. You know why? Because there's someone out there that will like you for being you. Oh, I'm on fire now. Oh, come on. How long have I got before you turn me down to do questions? All right, here's a situation. Understand this. My wife, right, she wanted me to go and get a proper job every step of the way. And I remember just before Christmas, I've lived in the council estates all my life, masonette above a shop. all that, right? And when my business started going well, finally, we bought a house, and it was a house over in Somerset. She wanted a house with a wood burner. I have no idea what one of them is. The idea that you light a fire in a house and don't run for insurance purposes afterwards is beyond me. We've got this house, and we're moving into, you can imagine the parish down in Somerset, thinking, oh Christ, who's a drug dealer? No, I'm not a drug dealer, I've written a book. Oh, I'm a drug dealer, it's easier. And I remember we had this farmhouse, and in each of the corners of the room was a spider. And I said to the wife, I said, oh, look, she said, there's some spiders in the corners. She went, oh, don't mind small spiders. Don't mind small spiders. Let me tell you something. Small spiders grow into big, horrible ones. And you've got a small spider in your life right now. Something that you're not dealing with. Because it's easier to have a smoke. It's easier to hit the bottle. It's easier to get aggressive. It's easier to be violent. It's easier to whatever. Whatever you're doing right now that you know deep down isn't right. It's easier that way. But what I want you to think about is this. Watch what you're doing short term doesn't create your long-term problems. And I know this from experience. And I'm 20 years older than you guys. But I'm giving you proper real talk right now, the likes of which most business owners wouldn't share. There's a price to pay for business success, and I paid it, and I'm going to share that in a second. 2 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown. I'm all right now, right? But 2 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown. You wouldn't understand what that means. But the technical term is like a posh way of saying you're going fucking mad, right? And what had happened is this. I'd focused so much energy on my business and being a business success. My life was like a game of Jenga. You know the game Jenga? Right. Take a wooden block out, put it at the top, and in this big tower of business success, people going, look, Brad, look what you've achieved. You've achieved so much. You're on the front page of magazines there. You're in the double page spread in the Times. You're on television, radio. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I was one brick away from all going to shit. Mentally, I was shot because I've given so much for this business. And I want you to think for a second as to why you are doing it. What is it about running a business that you want to do that? And you need to understand the why. Because if your only motivation is money, it's not enough. Because when it gets tough, and it will get tough, you need a reason to keep going. And I want to share with you this. 3 years ago, I was at Newbury service station, put some fuel in on my company card, and the guy behind the counter said it's been declined, authorization declined, insufficient funds. Do you have an alternate method of payment? I don't, buddy, no. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ring the wife. Is that all right? So I give him my car keys and rang the wife. That was a fun conversation. What it is, honey. Insufficient funds when you're starting a business off. Starting a business off, I was 7 years in. 7 years in. My business plan said 2 years. Let me tell you something. Your business plan is going to take you 4 times longer than what you've got on your business plan. That's real, right there. Because I know. And some people aren't prepared for that because they think it's going to be a 2-year plan and all of a sudden they're going to be swanning around in a brand new Phantom. Bullshit. But insufficient funds is okay. Insufficient desire isn't. And it's that desire you've got to tune into as to why you're doing it. What is your why? What is your purpose? As I said, if your only motivation is money, it's not enough. I want you to think for a second about an airfield. And on the airfield is a plane, fighter plane. Pilot gets into the plane, takes off 10,000 feet, puts the afterburners on. Then all of a sudden, on the cockpit, a warning light comes on. Warning, warning, engine malfunction, eject, eject, eject. 9,000, 8,000, 7,000. If you're all right, we're in that plane, it takes us nanoseconds. A yellow and black handle, boom, eject out of there. But a fighter pilot, a test pilot, 5,000 feet, 4,000 feet. Keep reading the instruments. You've done all the training. You've done university. You've done all this. 3,000. You've still got 7 seconds till impact. It's a lifetime. 2,000, 1,000. And only at the last possible moment would they eject. Welcome to your life. Welcome to self-employment. Because right now, in your life, you are flying a plane that you designed. If your life and your plane isn't going the direction you want it to, that's your fault. Don't blame Craig and Cameron. Don't blame what happened when you was a kid. Stop it. Because this will hold you back. I did it for 31 years. Is it any coincidence that all of a sudden I've started becoming a success at the very point when I changed my life? I changed my approach. I've wanted to quit. I wanted to pull the yellow and black handle on my plane, on my business, 10 times in the last 10 years. And people say to me, why didn't you pull the ejection handle all those times you wanted to? You know why? Because I didn't have a frigging ejection handle. I'd got rid of it. And if you have a plan B, it's because you don't believe in your plan A. Think about that. If you have a plan B, it's because you don't believe in your plan A. Well, if my uni degree doesn't work out, I'm going to do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. You've already just called it a day. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Clock's ticking. I'm going to round off now. Yeah? I've got... How long do you want me to... 5 more minutes? Are we happy? Good. Right, 5 more minutes. One of the things that happened to me is this throughout my life. Early days, in the first 31 years of my life, you know what I was doing? I was confusing bad decisions with bad luck. God, I can't believe I got caught with a bag of weed by those coppers. Pfft. Oh, bad luck's that. Stupidity. Right? Don't confuse your bad decisions with bad luck. We're all guilty of it. You know, life could always be better. I get that. Right? And I'd rather have more money than less. But there's a price to pay for success. And I just want you guys to have a think about what price you are willing to pay for your success. Are you willing to lose your friends? Are you willing to lose your relationships? Are you willing to fall out with people? Are you willing? What is the price you're willing to pay? Because I didn't know what price. I just kept going in and in and in. And I want you to think for a second that you're captain of a ship. You know why? Because you are the captain of a ship, your ship. And over here is an island with health and relationships. And over here is an island with wealth. Gold beyond your wildest dreams. Which one are you full speed ahead towards? Because you can't go to both. And early on running a business, I went all the way to that at the expense of my health. I've got diabetes type 2 now as a result of eating on the road and so forth and stress and drinking excess. Nearly lost my marriage. I was one day away from that all going to shit. So I'd had a multi-million-pound business, but at weekends, my children were handed to me and we'd go to McDonald's and buy my computer game. See you next week, guys. Lovely. But I've got a multi-million-pound business. So there's a price to pay. I ended up with success. I was ill. So just be mindful of this sort of stuff. You know what life's about, people? Life is not about 16-inch televisions, right? You might think it is right now. And I'm a bloke, 61 inches, 60 inches, brilliant, right? It's not about that. You know what life's about? You guys are at that age in your life right now when you can enjoy this. Life's about being shit-faced in a beer garden, dancing to a song you don't like, the summer of '69. Right? That's what it's about. It's about being at KFC in the West End at 4 o'clock in the morning. Me and Hassan. Hello, mate. Love you. What? Nothing? Right? It's about going on a shopping trolley when no one's looking and having a scoop. You know what? Bollocks, do it when they are looking. It's about driving through puddles. You know, I'm 41. I did it the other day. The student wasn't happy. But those memories will last me forever. You know, you need a why. My why, the thing that's kept me going, is I promised my children I would take them to Disney World. It was a legacy that I wanted to do. I was 31-year-old delivering pizzas. How was that going to happen? I promised my mum I'd get a private healthcare before she was 65. 3 days before she was 65, I did it. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone you love. Because I tell you something, when it gets tough and you've been whacked in the mouth, you need a reason to get back up and go, let's go again. And if your only motivation is I want a Q7, it's not enough. But if you want to create a legacy for your family or your mum or whatever, that's enough to keep you going. You know, I screen tested, I'm just going to share this with you. I screen tested to run a Talk About Productions, the guy who did Apprentice. I screen tested, they wanted me to head up a show and be a presenter for them. And I went there and I did the screen test and I nailed it, 10 out of 10. Just bam, 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 awesome. And I met number 3 in the organisation. They invited me back and to meet number 3, number 4, number 5, and I died. Absolutely died. And yet you think, the week before, I nailed it. Following week, boom, mind plays tricks on you. But you know when it doesn't go your way in life, and it doesn't go your way in education, or it doesn't go your way in school, understand this. Experience is what you win when you lose. Because you know now with the experience that you've got, you can make better decisions. So don't beat yourself up right now if you're delivering pizzas. Don't beat yourself up right now if your grades ain't going the way they're going. Look at me, no qualifications. But I had the biggest educational tool ever. That's my brain. The difference is I never switched it on prior to being 31 because I was so happy getting shit-faced, going raving, taking ecstasy tablets at weekends. Yeah, I said it. You know, but as one door closes, another one opens. And I got invited to go on the Secret Millionaire. You've seen that, Secret Millionaire? Right, okay, you know that one. So they wanted me to go on there, and they wanted me to go around the streets of Salford pretending my name's John. I'm a long-term unemployed welder. And on that first day, me would have been at Salford Boys Boxing Club, bang, 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 bang. Hey, little Johnny, stay away from the drugs, mate, and the gangs. Listen, I know your dad's banged up, I get it. My dad was banged up as well, but you've got a future in this sport, you stay away from the drugs and everything. And that evening, back in the Secret Millionaire bedsit, me sobbing, full camera crew on me, never understood that. Anyway, you know, and how little Johnny reminded me of me. And the next day, me turning up there, Ethel's Soup Kitchen. Ethel's helped the homeless people in Manchester for 20 years. Why'd you do it, Ethel? I just like helping homeless people in Manchester, John. Lost generation. And I need a new cooker. And then on the, once again, me sobbing there in my bedsit. And then the last day, me turning up there in my Rolls Royce Phantom. Number plate BB1. My chauffeur opens the door, me step aside with my three-piece suit and my pocket watch. And start walking boldly towards Ethel's Soup Kitchen. Ethel looks up from the beef broth. John, what are you doing here? Ethel, you may want to take a seat. I have 2 secrets to share with you today, Ethel. The first secret, my name isn't John. I'm not, in fact, a long-term unemployed welder. I'm, in fact, a dynamic entrepreneur from around the UK. And the second secret, Ethel, reaching into my top pocket, getting out my checkbook. The second secret, Ethel, these checks are going to fucking bounce, I'm not a millionaire. Listen, people, this is all you. I know we've had some fun here, and I've shared with you about the reality of running a business, that actually it's not all vertical markets, hedge funds, and all that shit, right? The reality is you're going to have a personal price to pay, and you're going to have to put, you know, the best thing about being self-employed is you get to choose which 18 hours a day you work. But one of the things that I can say about self-employment is this. You know, sometimes, if you're on Twitter, by the way, do find me on Twitter, Brad Burton, but, you know, you'll see me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tweeting and playing Far Cry 4, and people are going, well, that's not very professional. You know what? When you run your own business, you can be as professional as you want. You can write your own ticket. Some people are not geared up to be self-employed, and that's cool. Be honest about who you are. And understand this, the final thing I'm going to leave with is this. There's no shortcuts. People will tell you there's shortcuts, that if you come on my course, and what you'll learn is the secrets to increase your sales by 2,478%. It's all bollocks. There's no shortcuts. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, but you know what? You can do it. We started this seminar session with this, that there's a 10 in each and every one of us, each and every day. I'm going to round off with that. There's a 10 in each and every one of us, each and every day. Give yourselves a 10 out of 10. Thank you.